Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Benjamin here at the Scented Fragrance channel. Thank you so much for stopping by today. We're going to be talking about Midnight Oud by the House of Juliet Has a Gun. This is a wonderful fragrance. I definitely want to tell you about it. Before we do, down below, you see the like and the subscribe. Why don't you help me out? Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video, even tell a friend about this channel. When you hit notifications, hit all notifications, and let's jump into this video. So, Midnight Oud. What do we got going on here? What is this fragrance? You might not have heard about this brand. This is a entry-level niche brand. It's not too expensive for what it is, and I'm going to break it down and tell you the price at the end. And for certain, I'll just give you all a little bit of a hint. This stuff is worth the money. This is a beautiful juice. So first off, with the smell, let's talk about it. A gorgeous fragrance, gorgeous. You get more of a, kind of a damask rose, sometimes called a Taif rose. I doubt that there's real, it's kind of a substitute. It's probably not the real thing because it's so darn expensive for the real ingredients. But this stuff smells beautiful. It's more of a dry, spicy rose. Most of the rose people are familiar with are just purely synthetic and don't really have any of the real rose compounds to them. This one might have a tiny bit of the real thing. And most rose that are trying to interpretate or trying to copy a rose smell are usually copying more of a Bulgarian rose, a more powdery rose, more soft and delicate rose. This is a very good rose, and it's more of a dark, seductive fragrance through and through. It's called Midnight Oud for a reason. I talk about the rose so much because I feel like the rose dominates the oud. I feel like the rose dominates the composition, and the oud ends up being more of almost like a dark, seductive, woody smell. It's more modern, something that you would think is more Tom Ford-esque. And this isn't a barnyard oud, or this isn't skanky. If you're really into oud, you're going to ask, where's the oud? You're probably going to say, there is no oud in this fragrance. So that's going to be a negative for the oud fans, and it's going to be a real positive for maybe more of the Western nose. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more mass appealing. This fragrance really doesn't have a lot of sweetness. If you wanted your sweet, tantalizing, seductive party rose fragrance, everybody knows about Oud Satin Mood in the fragrance community, probably at this point. It has great performance, it smells really nice, but it's pretty darn expensive. This fragrance is so special because it's not a candied rose, it's not a sweet, exactly a playful rose fragrance. It's a little bit more on the reserved, seductive side of things. I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't think that there's a lot of rose fragrances that capture this feel and this vibe. Kind of more of a femme fatale fragrance. And I think that guys can wear this one. I think it is more on the unisex side of things. But if you're a lady who wants to wear like a little black dress, black high heels, and one of those like big black sun hats, I mean, you're going to slay. You're going to definitely, smite some guys walking down the street. Maybe with some of that bright, strong red lipstick. My goodness, you're going to be a stunner with this kind of fragrance. So definitely check this one out. I think it definitely does have a little bit of more of that diva kind of vibe to it. And I really do like this one. There is a little bit of spice in the dry down, tiny bit, but it's not really too noticeable. And supposedly, I think that there's a little bit of modern patchouli to this fragrance. It might make it a little bit more grounded, maybe a tiny bit earthy, but both of those notes really don't stand out in the fragrance at all. If I didn't tell you that they were there, you probably wouldn't really notice that there's, a tiny bit of spice and maybe a tiny bit of patchouli. So again, mostly a rose fragrance with a very interesting dark woody vibe to it, and a little, it's just so beautiful. To me, there's always a little hint of powderiness with most rose fragrances. I get a tiny bit of this here, but again, it doesn't distract from the dark, seductive nature of this fragrance. So let's talk about the performance. This fragrance performs, no doubt about it. I get 7, maybe 8 hours out of this fragrance. It's not the longest lasting, but it does have a fair, projection as well. I get about average projection, maybe slightly above average projection, especially in the beginning. And the sillage is here with this fragrance. It might not seem like this fragrance has a lot of sillage, but when you walk past people, this is a distinct smell, and people are able to pick up on this fragrance. So performance is respectable, if not good, on this fragrance. It's not a super long lasting on my skin. It does linger on, maybe a little bit after 7 or 8 hours, but it's such a faint skin scent. I really don't mention the performance too much. After a fragrance becomes a really faint skin scent, and people can't pick it up on it, around you at all, I usually don't mention the performance after that. So do take that into account with my reviews. Anyways, it's a nice fragrance through and through. It's respectable, and for the price, I think you're getting your money's worth. Before we talk about the price, though, what about the compliment factor? Again, I think it's a real winner. I said it's a femme fatale fragrance. I said it's a dark seductive fragrance. I said it's a fragrance that definitely is going to keep people on their toes. If you're a guy and you're comfortable with rose, especially more of a damask Taif rose, I think that you're going to love this juice. I love this fragrance, and I really recommend it. It is a little bit different. It's not as playful. It might be a little bit more grown up because there's not really any sweetness per se, and it's not overtly creamy. I think that this fragrance would do very well if they added maybe a black musk or something like that to this fragrance. But it's a good fragrance, no doubt about it. So price-wise, this fragrance is about $120 or so. You can go and find this fragrance on Lucky Scent. I think it's available right now. For a full-size bottle for 100 mils, for $120, this is actually a really, really nice fragrance. And I think it's worth the money. I think it's certainly worth the juice. So this fragrance isn't going to be for everybody. This isn't your sweet, innocent rose, and this isn't your girly girl rose, and this isn't even your, your green, more of like a universal lady rose. This is definitely a femme fatale, grown up, dark rose kind of fragrance, dark and woody and tantalizing. So take that into account. Let me know in the comment section below, does this fragrance sound good to you? Does this fragrance sound fantastic and nice? I would love to smell this kind of fragrance on a lady. It would be a stunner of a fragrance and a stunner of a lady, I'm sure, who would wear something like this. So really nice fragrance. I really appreciate it for being a true dark fragrance for a lady. I don't think that there's enough fragrances that capture that dark vibe, that really there's not a lot of fragrances that are also dark and yet more appealing towards the ladies. So I really think this fragrance did justice and made a really nice creation. I really do think this is a good one. So anyways, let me know what you think about this fragrance. Do you like dark rose fragrances? Do you like rose fragrances in general? What do you think about this style of fragrance for a lady? Do you think a lady, it's nice to be a femme fatale, or do you think femme fatales are scary? Let me know below. Anyways, I'll see y'all, everybody. If you did like my content, though, before you go, please give me a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video, tell a friend, and when you hit the notification bell, hit all notifications so you get notified of my regular content. I upload very regularly, so don't miss out on an episode. I'll see you next time, my friends. This is the Centaur Fragrance Channel, bringing you great fragrances, amazing fragrances. I hope you enjoy it. See you next time, my friends. Wear what you love, rock what you got. I'll see you next time, my friends, and bye.